Good.
It's a busy weekend for you, Mr. Loeb.
It is a little bit. It is a little bit.
How do you manage all of the press relations?
Cloning is something that Marvel has trademarked.
Are there characters from the comics that we will see this season, or Easter eggs?
Yes, there are. There are two in particular. One that will be revealed by the end of this day.
Should be.
And one that will remain a surprise for a little later in the season.
Okay.
But I think it's one of the gifts that Brian K. Vaughan gave to us was that, you know, even in a short run, he managed to introduce new characters that were as unique and as special as the characters that are the Runaways themselves. So being able to incorporate those stories in the way that Josh and Stephanie have it is really sort of extraordinary.
Speaking of all those characters, this show has a gigantic cast when you think about it.
Yeah.
Do you guys have like charts to make sure everybody gets enough screen time? How do you kind of balance all the characters?
In terms of plotting the stories, we do try to find that balance, but the cast is very cool in understanding that we're telling a larger story, and if their character doesn't have a ton to do that week, we'll just wait till next week because then they'll be up at bat. So it's very supportive in that way, but it's definitely something that needs to be considered and juggled.
It's unlike any other show that we have, and I think that really speaks to the way that Josh and Stephanie have been able to sort of build out a show that not only has the pairings that you would normally talk about, but one of the things that we talked about this season is, okay, how do we get this person who we've never seen with this person in a way that doesn't feel like, oh, they just bumped into each other, and so that's a way that you can keep the story really alive and fresh, is because you're now suddenly telling, oh, these kids with that parent, or this pair and that pair.
We've definitely had moments where we've talked about scenes where there's like 7 people in a car, and then we're like, wait, this person doesn't know these other people. We have to like address that.
So in the comics, the parents' arc ends at a point. Are we going to see that kind of happen in the show, or is it just always going to be parents and kids?
Well, we have many seasons to go.
Hopefully.
To get there. Season 2 is very much about kids versus parents. The kids are done with their investigation into what the parents are up to. Are they good or evil? They've made their decision, and they have their agenda, and they're coming for them. And so season 2 is much more focused on that battle.
I'm sure you guys hear a lot about crossovers. Naturally, Cloak and Dagger and the comics have a good relationship. They're both teen shows. Is there talk about that you can tell us about?
Let's answer it a different way, which is that it certainly does feel like, given the fact that the show takes place in Los Angeles, so that we're not dealing a lot with what's going on in New York, and given that we do like having points of connectivity. It's a new one. Points of connectivity. Hashtag. So yes, exactly. But it certainly felt to us at Marvel Television that it seemed unlikely that if you're 6 kids and a dinosaur whose parents have murdered someone and you're on the run, that you're not sitting around going, that Daredevil guy seems kind of interesting. Wonder what he's up to. What's funny about it is it sort of rings very true when you talk to kids that are in high school and you say to them, well, this person who's 25 years old, and they look at you like, you mean somebody that's like my grandfather's age? Like we have to be very careful in terms of what would be realistic in terms of where their interests are, or who they might want to connect to. And there are certainly 2 young people that are running around New Orleans right now that are faced with similar but different kinds of situations. And so I think the major answer is who knows.
Now I know that they're all your babies, but who's your favorite character from this season?
You can't have a favorite. Every episode.
Who's interesting?
Well, they're all interesting. Every episode shines a light, I would say, on one character more than the others, and that makes it really fun storytelling, where you can do a deep dive into any character's world in any episode, and it's going to feel very different, although connected, to what's happening with the other characters.
I agree, but what I really like about this season is that it takes all of our cast members to unexpected places, and that sometimes being on your own gives you an opportunity to sort of decide who you want to be, and whether or not you have preconceived notions from the comics or preconceived notions from season 1, we think that we're going to turn some of those expectations on their ear, and you're going to look at not just the kids but the parents as well in a way that will be unique and fun, and the best part of all is that there's now 13 episodes instead of 10, and that they're all dropping at once. So we're apologizing in advance to parents all around the world because the kids are not coming down and opening their presents on Christmas Day. They're watching Runaways.
Sorry, guys. That was the last question.
Thank you.